Hi, welcome to Art Insider. My name is Charlie Guerra, and we have a great show for you today. Today we'll be talking about cinematography. So, what is cinematography? Well, there is a technical definition, and I have my own definition. Now, the technical definition, according to the Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary, is the art or science of motion picture photography. But to me, it's something else. To me, it's the art of creating dreams, of making magic come alive. It's the ultimate form of storytelling. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Then a story put to pictures can tell the story of a lifetime. It can transcend through decades, even millennia, in just a short time. The power of the lens, a camera, and lighting is nothing without a great cinematographer behind it. In this episode, we'll be talking about the history of film and some of the greatest and most prolific cinematographers in the industry of motion picture. This is the True Storytellers Top 5. Let's begin with Louis-Aimé Augustin Leprince. He has been heralded as the father of cinematography since 1930. He was a chemist, an engineer, an inventor, a filmmaker born in Dijon, France in 1841, and he mysteriously vanished in 1890 at the age of 49. Before there was film, photography had already existed. It was primitive to say the least. The first photo here is the oldest documented. Over the years, they did improve, but it wasn't until 1887 that the first film camera was presented by Leprince. And here it is. This camera is currently being displayed at the Museum of Science in London, England. This is the first documented footage ever. It was made in 1888. It shows Leprince's wife, and Hartley, and his son Adolf, not that Adolf, and his mother and father-in-law Joseph and Sarah Whitley, walking around the garden at their father-in-law's house. It's called the Round Hay Garden Scene. It was only a 3-second clip, and unfortunately his mother-in-law Sarah died 10 days after the filming. So unfortunately she never found out that she would be part of cinematic history. We've come a long way since the time of Leprince, and we've seen some of the greatest works of cinematography through the decades. In the 1890s, seen mostly via temporary storefront spaces and traveling exhibitors, or as acts in vaudeville programs. A film could be under a minute long and would usually present a single scene, authentic or staged, of everyday life, a public event, a sporting event, or slapstick. There was little to no cinematic technique. The film was usually black and white, and it was without sound. In 1923, they found a way to add audio to short films, and they were called talkies. By the early 1930s, the talkies were a global phenomenon. In the United States, they helped secure Hollywood's position as one of the world's most powerful cultural and commercial centers of influence. In Europe, and to a lesser degree elsewhere, the new development was treated with suspicion by many filmmakers and critics, who worried that a focus on dialogue would subvert the unique aesthetic virtues of soundless cinema. In Japan, where the popular film tradition integrated silent movie and live vocal performances, talking pictures were slow to take root. In India, sound was the transformative element that led to the rapid expansion of the nation's film industry. In America, the first feature film to have sound was played on October 1927, and that film was the iconic The Jazz Singer.
couple pals are always hard to find. Some folks have one, some folks have none. And I was alone for years, but fate was kind. And in the end,
this is great stuff. Now you can see that the film's audio was still in its infancy, and Hal Moore, the cinematographer, made the movie with banners for the talking scenes in the silent movie style, with only the background sounds and the music. He added singing scenes. This was, at the time, a new technology, and he didn't know how the people would react. So he made the story in a way that it would not shock the audience. There were some isolated scenes that you would hear the actor speak, but it was a slow transition of sorts. Besides, this being a new technology, why risk the success of the film? The audio was synchronized into the film, which was the first time that this had ever been done, and the first time anyone had ever lip-synced to music. So, I guess that makes Al Jolson the first person to lip-sync. Eat your heart out, MTV.
from the gate, he'll start to run. And then
Now, D.W. Griffith is considered the father of film. They say that his use of light was very unique to his movies. A silent film actress by the name of Lillian Gish, who hears Losing Her Head, was the one who called him the father of film. And Charlie Chaplin called him the teacher of us all. But since Griffith's time, there have been many cinematographers like Vittorio Storaro who keep innovating and taking the art of cinematography to new levels. Now with color, he has intensified the use of light and shadows and taken it to new levels. D.W. Griffith may have been the father of film, but these next 5 cinematographers, these guys must be the godfathers. Storaro has created some of the most unbelievable and mesmerizing scenes in cinematic history. He's created works like Apocalypse Now, The Last Emperor, Taxi, Last Tango in Paris, Reds, Dick Tracy, and he's won 3 Oscars and 45 awards and has 30 nominations. His style is one of a kind, and he has learned to use light and color like no other cinematographer I know. This man knows the history of film and lighting like no one else. You can see a great video on Vittorio on YouTube called Cinematographer Style 2006. Another cinematographer who in my mind is one of the greatest to work in the industry and definitely ranks in one of the top positions is Roger Deakins. He has made movies like Shawshank Redemption, No Country for Old Men, Skyfall, A Beautiful Mind, True Grit, Barton Fink, Fargo, Dead Man Walking, The Big Lebowski, Courage Under Fire, and the list goes on. He's not won one Oscar yet, but that's the key word, yet. Roger Deakins and one other cinematographer named George L. Folsey have been nominated a record 13 times without ever winning an Oscar. Roger, though, he's won 79 awards and has 128 nominations. Now that's nothing to shake a stick at. This guy's obviously a commodity in the film industry, even without ever winning not a single Oscar. His work in Shawshank Redemption was just extraordinary. My next choice is the late, great Conrad Hall, a true legend in the business. He's created masterpieces like American Beauty, Road to Perdition, and timeless classics like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Cool Hand Luke, and many others. He also has 3 Oscar wins and 25 awards to his name. He has 30 nominations. He's mentored and worked with a lot of now great cinematographers and has paved the way for some of the best in the business. In this clip from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, he went as far as crashing this bicycle through the fence because they couldn't find a stunt double for Paul Newman. His dedication and passion are unsurpassed. Next is Robert Richardson. He looks more like one of the Doobie Brothers than a cinematographer. But this man has an incredible list of great films like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, The Aviator, Nixon, JFK, Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, 8 Men Out, Inglourious Bastards, Breathe, Django Unchained, The Horse Whisperer, Salvador, Wall Street, A Few Good Men. The list just goes on and on. His body of work speaks for itself. The man is making his way to becoming a legend in his own right. His work on Platoon and Salvador catapulted him into the spotlight, and he hasn't slowed down since. He's another cinematographer that has won 3 Oscars, has another 15 awards, and 97 nominations. And now, for my last choice, this man has won 3 Oscars and has a staggering 142 awards and has been nominated 72 times. Emmanuel Lubezki. Lubezki began his career as a Mexican filmmaker in television productions and film in the 1980s. His first international production was a 1993 independent film, 20 Bucks, which followed the journey of a single $20 bill. Lubezki has been nominated for 8 Academy Awards for Best Cinematography, winning 3 for Gravity, Birdman, and The Revenant. And he is the only cinematographer in the history of filmmaking that has won 3 consecutive Academy Awards. He has also created unforgettable films like The Birdcage, Sleepy Hollow, and Como Agua para Chocolate, which translates into Water for Chocolate, which won 25 awards on its own. He is rated as one of the top cinematographers in the business, hands down. Lubezki is known for groundbreaking uses of natural lighting and continuous, uninterrupted shots in cinematography. His work has been praised by audiences and critics alike, which he has earned him multiple awards. Lubezki is a frequent collaborator with his fellow Mexican filmmaker, Alfonso Cuarón. The two have been friends since they were teenagers and attended the same film school. Together they worked on 6 motion pictures. His work on Cuarón's Gravity, a science fiction thriller set in outer space, the film was praised for the way it was combined 2 shots through digital backgrounds of space to create the illusion of scenes done in one single shot. His work with Cuarón on Children of Men has received universal acclaim. The film utilized a number of new technologies and distinctive techniques. The roadside ambush scene was shot in one extended take, utilizing a special camera rig invented by Doggy Cam Systems. For that one scene, a vehicle was modified to enable seats to tilt and lower actors out of the way of the camera. The windshield of the car was designed to tilt out of the way to allow the camera movement in and out of the car. A crew of 4, including Lubezki, rode on the crew.
Crazy Jesus! Go, gun! Cover Kate! Get down!
Fuck!
Lubezki was one that I definitely had to put in my top 5. And if I had to choose a number 1, it would most likely be him. My list doesn't end at 5 though. The list is huge. There are so many cinematographers that have inspired me through the years that the list is endless. And most of them can be seen on a video called Light and Shadow, Greatest Cinematographers of the World, and you can find it on YouTube. Again, thank you for watching Art Insider. The next time we'll be doing the directors, the true storytellers, top 5. Till then, keep on being creative.